friends. This is Alia Jamal, the Heart Mentor, and we are meeting for our weekly workshop. And today's topic is very, very interesting. It is giving with no strings attached. So, all of us who identify with being such a giver, being a peacekeeper, being the person who has such an open and giving heart, this workshop is really for you, but for everybody else who confuses how they can give without depleting. But this is one of the topic that touches us every single day, and this is also the reason most women they feel tired, exhausted, uh, they have autoimmune disorders, they have gut issues. This is the reason. Giving, and we are going to get to the no strings attached part. So, first, I just wanted to share what giving is and what sharing is, because that is the word we are going to eventually start leaning towards. So, in depending on the language that you speak or the background that you come from, you might use the word giving, and that is the only word you use. I will be touching the English aspect of it, um, which is giving versus sharing. So just pay attention to maybe the culture that you come from, there would be only one word for it. So giving is when we feel like I gave you something and now I don't have it. And it's a transfer from me to you. I do have my notes here, so I'm going to put them a little in front of me. I have 2 pages of notes, so I know this is going to be a packed workshop. It feels transactional, and that's why it creates a feeling of lack within us. But the biggest thing that we want to understand, there is a hidden agenda behind giving. And that is the thing, if you can see it, if you're honest with yourself enough that you can see it, that you're giving with an agenda behind things, you have find the source of why you feel so tired all the time. Now let's look at sharing, how sharing feels like. Sharing is more like a participation. I have an umbrella, and instead of giving it to you, I shared it with you. Now we both are under the same umbrella. Sharing feels more of mutual access. It feels like me and you are on the same level. Giving is usually one person is higher, giving to the person who's lower. That's why a lot of people who sometimes when you're going through a difficult time, they give you money, they help you out, then they feel entitled to control your whole life because they were giving it to you. They were not sharing it with you. We don't worry about other people. We worry about this person because that is what creates your reality. So stay focused on yourself, how you operate. So we want to first talk about that what happens when we give with strings attached, when we give with a hidden agenda. So first of all, what happens? It's not really something that you're giving to someone. You're negotiating in disguise. So there's like a invisible ledger that you have, and it happens in marriages so many times. We feel like, oh, I'm in love with this person and we're going to get married and we're going to live together, but the back of our mind we're thinking how much he can provide for me. Can he protect me? Can he love me the way I am? Is he going to stand up against, like, people from his family who are going to bully me? That is what we are looking for in return. And that, my friend, is not um like, really sharing your love. That is, you are in a transactional relationship and you have a ledger. You're keeping track. Did he throw away the trash? Did he help you clean? Did he help you in the kitchen or no? And then the resentment starts to build up. And one of the things is, if you do have resentment somewhere, um, know that you're not giving from a no strings attached place, which means you're not really sharing. You're giving with a hidden agenda. It's very important that we are honest enough with ourselves that we can see those things. The next one is when we give with strings attached, we are giving from a wounded place. It's not weakness, it's It's a wound that has not been healed within us. uh, Wound is something that you can choose to heal, or you can just let it be. So that is when the inner child feels like, love has to be conditional. You don't even know how to give that unconditionally, because you're not giving yourself unconditionally. So you don't know how to do that with another person. Another aspect that happens when we are giving with a hidden agenda, we don't really connect with the divine part within us, because the divine gives without any expectations. So if you find yourself whenever you receive a gift and right away you're like, oh, I must return them another gift, and even better. It's about to happen, like, tomorrow most of the Muslim world is celebrating Eid, and we do exchange a lot of gifts pretty much with every single person. And there's a lot of comparison, and a lot of people are going to go into, oh, they gave 100 and we must give 200. Like, there's a competition going on. So the blessing is taken out of it, because it's not coming from a divine place. It's coming from, like, a fear that I must look better than this person, I must look more rich than that person. Um, when we don't give freely, because somewhere deep inside of us we don't feel that universe is there to have our back. We are living in control. I have 100, I cannot give away 100, I must give 50 and keep 50 for myself. That is just for money. It has to do with time, it has to do with our energy. And a lot of people who call themselves, I'm a giver, they are giver with a ledger in their mind. When you truly meet a person who has the capacity to give freely, they are not tired, they are not burnt out, they are not exhausted. And then you wonder, how are they able to do so much and stay so energized all at the same time? So if that is something you're leaning towards, let's continue the conversation. Um, another thing that happened is, we look at our life in terms of sacrifice, especially us women. We have to sacrifice our career to take care of the kids. We have to sacrifice our health to be present for everybody else. We have to sacrifice this, sacrifice that, and that is the only way you can be a woman. But let's look at it from a place of offering. What is it that you can offer? Sometimes we don't even go into a new relationship because we're like, oh, I don't want to sacrifice my freedom. Look at it. What is it that you can offer? I remember that moment when I was making that jump, getting remarried. I really focused on, I have so much love to share. And I was really looking for someone to offer that love. Not give it to them, offer it to them. And it's so fascinating to see how universe gives you exactly what you're putting out. I met a person who also had a lot of love and was looking for someone to offer that love to you, uh, offer that love to the person. And, here we are both offering each other our love. Another thing is, um, pay attention to, where do you give from? If you get nothing else from this whole conversation and the extensive notes that I have here, pay attention to, when you're about to give, do you give from fear? Do you give like, oh, if I don't do this, I might lose something, or what someone else will think of me? Do you give from lack? Do you give from feeling the need for their approval? Or do you really give from love and joy? And I can guarantee you, when you will find there are places in your life you purely give from love and joy. But then there are places you give from fear, you give from lack, you give from needing their approval, because you don't know that there's any other way that you can exist. And sometime, um, another one is, especially for women, they give from guilt. They give from a sense of duty. Especially if you're a mom, we give from guilt a lot. We do so many things for our family just because of guilt. We feel like we're doing something wrong. Oh my God, I have a career and that is wrong. My kids are in the daycare. So when you come home, you give all the time to them and nothing to yourself. So pay attention to how are you operating. Another big thing with giving, especially for women, is it's tied to our worth. We are only as good as we can give. So if you can give so much, you're a good woman. That is the worth. And if you cannot give a lot, you're not a good woman. So if you look women around you who are exhausted, who are tired, they are the one who keep saying yes, 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 and they're like, oh, I don't know how to say no. And apparently that's supposed to be a good thing. Like I have personally been part of the conversations where women are like, oh yeah, I have hard time saying no. I just keep saying yes, and it's seen as a good characteristic. It's not, my friend. That just means you are so attached to your worth only through what you can give. So that is your hidden agenda there. That means you don't feel worthy. You don't feel the divine worthiness within you. You don't feel the divine within you. And nothing wrong with that. This might be the first time you're looking at it this way. But when you make the switch, you get to live a much healthier life, but at the same time, everybody else around you gets to benefit because we're about to get into all the ways you are ruining things for yourself and for other people when you are giving with strings attached. Um, One of the things to keep in mind is you cannot really give freely unless you learn how to stop abandoning yourself in the process of giving. So if you feel like, oh yeah, I give no strings attached when I give somebody something, I don't care if they return it or not. But if you're abandoning yourself, if you're bending backward, if you're ignoring your own needs in order to give whatever you're giving to the other person, my friend, that is not uh, truly giving with no strings attached. There's still strings attached. You're just not ready to look at them with the honesty that is required. And that's okay too. We all get to that place of internal honesty when we are ready to look at it, when we are ready to transform. So don't feel bad about it. Just look at it. If you can resonate with it, amazing, because these are the things only you can look within yourself. I can see a lot of stuff in you if we are in a conversation just through your energy and the words you're using, and the track history that you have. I can have that insight, but I cannot convince you to come face to face with it and transform it. That is something only you can do. So now let's look at it, how we start to scramble or distort the divine nature of the universal structure that exists. So we are not existing on earth randomly. There's a very unique structure that exists, and we are part of that. When we start to give with strings attached, we start to distort that. And then what happens? We have a lot of chaos. And then we think, oh, something is wrong with me. God is angry with me. That's why my life is this way. And we come up with elaborative stories. But all that is required on our part is start connecting with giving with no strings attached, or I call it sharing. That is the word I use in my internal word. I ask myself, are you giving here or are you sharing? So we're going to go very quickly through those laws and regulations that do exist to manage our soul's energy. And once we align with them, life gets to be different. So few things that are in our light is endless. And if I cannot give from a place where I feel endless, then I'm stuck in, like, giving from personal agenda. Um, when I cannot give freely, I block my own receiving because I need to have empty space within me so the universe can fill it up. But when I am giving to you and I have a list going on in my hand, all the things I'm expecting in return, what's happening? It's like I'm holding on to those strings. Energetically, I'm holding on to an expectation or something that I need in return. Maybe I never said it to you, but that is what I need in return. Now, there's no empty space for universe to bring anything to me. So then I create a block to receiving. Um, Another thing is we look at like, oh, this person doesn't deserve my love. That is the funniest, in my world, that is the funniest thing when I hear it. Oh, that person doesn't deserve my love. Or when someone say, oh, I deserve better. When we go to deserve, the truth of this world is no matter how bad of a person you are or how good of a person you are, in the eyes of the divine, you both are loved. And I know as human, we have such a hard time absorbing that because we have judgment, we have scales, and we're like, but how's that possible? Because we don't understand the bigger picture. We don't understand why this person had to come in your life and had to do all the crazy things in your life. We don't know the big picture. We just know this one tiny moment. And we get stuck in that and we're like, oh, this person doesn't deserve to receive from me. And when we go towards that deserve equation, I personally recommend don't use that word for yourself or for another person. We all are equal. That is when we start blocking that infinite flow that exists within us. Now, when you're busy measuring this person deserve my time or don't deserve my time, you're also blocking yourself from receiving from the endless. There's another way to look at it. I'm choosing not to engage with this person. I'm choosing not to be in their company. I'm choosing not to give them my time because I've decided I want to do something else with my time. So getting out of that whole like, who deserve who is going to save you so much energy, but the most important thing is it aligns you with the divine within you. Because even if you are the least deserving person because you have done all crazy things, you still get to breathe. You're still provided the sustenance. You're still provided with the sunlight and the water and all the things. That means it's coming from somewhere, somehow, someone who loves you. And that is the highest power. That is the creator. Another aspect of it is we give without trusting. So we give because someone asked us to give, whether it's your love, whether it's your money, whether it's your time, whether it's your energy. But we don't really trust that something is going to come in return. So we give a lot of time from lack. Um, a lot of people, especially when their marriage is falling apart, I went through the exact same thing. That's why I can smile about it. I felt like, I have lost 18 years of my life with this person. I gave them so much, and look what I got, all this pain and blah, 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 all the bitterness that I had to go through because I didn't trust there's more for me. I didn't trust that there's another avenue can open up that I can't even, my limited mind can't even comprehend because it was so busy in that limitation and the trust wasn't there. Once the trust started to build up more and more, I could see that. And today I live that. But when we are going through it, we don't really connect with it. Maybe you're listening to it right now and you can connect with it with that level of trust sooner than I did. So now we want to look at the universal laws that has to deal with giving and receiving and sharing and how we can align with it. So the first one is cause and effect. Anytime you do an act of giving something to someone, it creates a ripple effect. When there's strings attached, Now, the ripple effect, imagine you threw a stone into the water and there's beautiful ripple effects are creating. And now imagine you threw a stone and then you took a lot of tiny stones and you threw them in there. What happens? A distortion happens. That is what we do. So when you learn to share instead of give, because your worth is not attached to it, because you trust it will come back, because you don't have a expectation ledger in the back of your mind, and I'll show you in a few how to create that within you. When that starts to shift, that is when you send out a signal, you're creating a ripple effect, and it is going to come back to you. It is always going to come back to you. So that is the law of cause and effect. Then there's another one, which you can call it the law of circulation. Everything that goes out always comes back. A very easy trick, especially while you're learning and implementing and embodying these concepts. Let's say you're about to give $1 to someone. Close your eyes, see that you gave out this dollar, and imagine someone else gave you $1. Or maybe you just found it somewhere. So you can see it returning to you. It doesn't return from the same channel. That is the biggest problem that our mind gets stuck into. We are treating this person so nicely. We are treating us so poorly, and we are so upset. I am so good to you. Why can't you be good to me? Well, because there is another person who's really good to you. It's coming back from a different channel. Our mind is limited that, it needs to come from the same channel. Maybe you're at a job and you're putting in so much effort, and they are not appreciating you, and you're bitter about it. If you can just introduce, hey, I'm putting the effort here, maybe I'm not receiving the return from here, but I know from somewhere else the return is going to come. What might happen? You might have an amazing person walk into your life who's going to make your life so much better and easier. So abundance has showed up in another way. Abundance exists in forms of money, love, health, blessings in your time. If you spent a day where you did not waste it on doom scrolling or just sitting there binge watching Netflix and feeling resentful later on that you have wasted all that time, but you had a very, very productive day where you got a lot of stuff done, a lot of the things on your to-do list got done, that is a day blessed with uh, time. That day you had the blessing of time. Your time just expanded. My friend, that is also a form of prosperity that we don't realize. So the next one is law of vibration. So when I give, and I'm afraid, am I getting it back? Am I not getting it back? Will this person treat me as well as I'm treating them? When we stay in that space, now I'm sending out the signal of lack or fear. So what I'm going to get back, I'm going to get back lack, I'm going to get back fear. That person is going to act in a way where I'll be afraid and I will feel like I'm missing something. I'm just going to pause here. I want to talk to something because I have personally gone through this transformation myself, and I have multiple conversations with my clients about this too. So usually what happens, you have this person in your life and they are just not treating you right. You're giving them so much and they're not giving it back to you. There, my friend, be very honest with yourself. And if you need to talk to me, reach out to me. I can help you see that. If you get really honest with yourself right there, if we go deep into the way you think and what you expect, you are sending out the signals that make that person treat you that way. And I know it is going to trigger you. It triggered a lot. It triggered me a lot too when I learned this. And I resisted this concept for the longest time. And then one day I sat with it and I started looking at it. And I started doing the work to change my inner. And I started seeing the shift in the outer, in the other person. we create the person in front of us. You can extract the best out of the worst person, and you can also extract the worst out of the best person depending on the strings that you're sending into them, the attachment you have to what you give to them. We are so powerful when we align with our highest, most divine self and we align with our inner core. We get to be the contributors of creating so much beauty in our relationships, in our life. But the problem is, most of us, we are operating, especially in our relationships, from a very wounded place. We need control. We operate from fear. We operate from lack. We operate from the worst case scenario, and we keep creating that. So if you're stuck in that, I would highly recommend reach out to me and I can help you see how you can create that shift. So moving forward to law of detachment. Sometimes we give charity, sometimes we give gifts, and we think like, our intentions are very pure. And the problem is we're still attached to the outcome. We think our intention is pure, but we are attached to the outcome. And practicing detachment is one of the most difficult thing you can do as a human. And even though this is what I eat, breathe, and live, I see my ego struggling in detachment. And sometimes I have to sit there for like 5 and 10 minutes to really keep connecting with that energy, cleaning it up, looking for those thoughts that still want an exchange of energy or something, and really getting to that place where the intention is pure. And I'm going to give you some questions to work through where you can see, like, am I giving it with the right intention, or am I still attached to the outcome? The easiest one to see is like, a person donates like a big chunk of money to institute, and then they have their name on the department. That was not a giving with no attachment. That was a very attachment to the outcome giving. We think, oh my God, look how generous that person is. No, they just wanted their name on there. Um, and it just doesn't happen because, they wanted to be honored. They wanted their name there. That is the truth. Now, the biggest one, that if you can embody it, you're going to be the most free person in the world. And that is law of divine compensation. And the way divine compensation works, you give here, you get nothing back, but it comes back from somewhere else in a different way. And that is where the trust piece comes, my friend. It is very difficult for our ego to trust it will come back, and it might come back from somewhere else. It wants it back from where it's putting. It's almost like, the little toddler who, if you have ever played that game, where the frog comes out, it's in arcade, the frog comes out, you hit it and hammer, it comes out from somewhere else. So if you're playing with a very little kid, they'll just keep hitting at the same spot where they saw it coming once. But if they're a little older, they'll catch on. Oh, it can come out from a different hole. So they'll become a little faster. And if you're an adult, because you can see the pattern, it's even easier with you. So that is how the trust is in this law of divine compensation. As it gets mature, it becomes so much easier for you, so much easier to give and to give and to give and not expect it to come back to the place that you're giving. And this is something I ended up learning through personal life experiences. And when my mentor said, like, you're attached to the outcome here. And when I created that detachment and I became open to that, whatever love I have poured out, it will come back. It was not wasted. That is the energy out in the universe. It is going to come back. And it is definitely going to come back to me. The more I became open to that, my friend, I can tell you it came back thousand folds more. or even more. If there's a number of infinity I can put, the love that I poured out in my first marriage that I didn't receive back, the love I'm receiving in my current marriage right now is truly infinite. That I am doing the work to be open to receive it all. That is the work I'm doing with my current mentor. How can I open myself more to receiving that love? That is how much the love I'm getting back. Because I have experienced these laws, because this is the work I do, I'm convinced when you will practice this, don't take my word for it. When you will practice it, you will see it. You'll be convinced too. And then you can replicate it in other areas of your life. So, with that, we're coming to the end of all the universal laws, and now we are getting into more practical ways. How how do you get to a place where you start giving with no strings? Of course, the skills we've been talking about, they do take time to develop, but what is it that's something you can do right now? So I have 5 points here. First thing you can do, pause. Whenever there's something you need to say yes to, whenever someone is asking you, whenever you signed up for something that you're not really sure, pause and ask yourself, am I giving from love or fear? Fear would be, oh, if I don't do this, something bad will happen, so I must do it. A lot of time we visit our in-laws out of fear. There's no love there, but you can develop love. When you start to see that, it's not about what they deserve because of whatever past is there, look at it. What is it that you're choosing to send out? And that is going to, um, I think I skipped one. Oh, no, it's coming. Okay. Second is always complete the cycle, as I mentioned before. Whenever you're about to give something, close your eyes, take a moment, and see it coming back to you. You're training your mind to see it physically. When we imagine, our mind doesn't know if it's real or if it's imaginary. It is happening in real time for it. So you're telling, it's just like, when we tell a kid, hey, if you share your toy with your friend or your sibling right now, I'm going to buy you another toy. And there's a very high chance that they would get convinced and they will share it versus when you say, oh, just share. So you're reminding yourself it is going to come back. And the more you do that visualization, a day comes that you don't have to do that visualization. Like at this point, I don't have to close my eyes, but in the beginning, I would. I kept repeating it till it became a reality for my mind to comprehend that, yes, that is how it works. And then that is how it works. The third one is clean up your ledger, my friend. It is going to free up so much energy in your mind. So write down, where are you keeping score? And I can guarantee you, if you're in an intimate relationship, the highest score you're keeping is there because that is the closest relationship to you. So who owes you and what are you waiting for? And I can tell you, when I cleaned up my ledger, it freed up 50% of my mental space. My life became so much lighter. So I started to operate that way. I do my best to not keep a ledger. And if I find something, I work through it. That is how we travel very light in this human experience. The fourth one is get into the habit of adding to the flow of um, blessings. So, what does that really mean? Think of the universe as a beautiful river. All the love you send out, the money you give, the time you give, it's like, it's going and it's blessing someone. So do things here and there where you're giving and you're just adding to the flow of the blessing. You're not expecting a return from that person. So talking about, visiting your in-laws or visiting someone in your family, a close relationship where you feel like you have to, but you don't want to, your body's saying a no, and there's a pressure around you, there are other people involved, it must be a yes. Look at that incident in a way you're adding to the flow of the blessings of the universe. You're not expecting anything from that person. You're not expecting anything from anyone else. You're just gonna go be your loving presence and you're adding to the flow of the blessings. We don't realize we have the power to bless. We think that it's only God who can bless you. My friend, there is God within each and every one of us. Even the most terrible person on the earth has the divine power within them. It is just very, very dormant. They are not doing the work to align with it. You don't have to do a good thing for the person in front of you. You can do the good thing for the divine within you. You can you can go visit the divine within them. You don't have to visit them. You can go and visit the divine within them, and that is how you'll be blessing that person. And you don't know that your one visit with this pure intention might become the catalyst to crack them open from the shell of the ego that they're sitting in, and they start to connect with the divine within them. I have seen this, of course, in my own personal experience, but also in my clients too. As they start to evolve to a higher level of consciousness, where they are seeing the divine within them and within other people, the same people they didn't get along with start getting along with them. And most importantly, they want to be around them. You become such a magnetic person when you are moving around in the world with no strings attached in your giving, and you are fully vibrating at the level of sharing, where you see other person just as equal, just as amazing as you are. You become a magnet. People want to spend time with you. People want to be around with you because they are being blessed by being in your energy field. So I will invite you to lean into, be a source of blessing for the person. You don't have to sit there like pray for them or put your hand on their head and bless them. Just your energy field can be a source of blessing for other people. And that is what happened when we start to add to the flow of the blessing and expecting anything in return from the same place where we are putting it. The last one is gift versus contract. Now, there would be parts in your life where you will be doing a contract. Contract is, I'm giving you this, you give me that. Your workplace, you're going to give them 8 hours of your presence and trusting your work, your skills, and they are giving you a paycheck. You don't have to step into like, I am giving even if I don't get paid in your workplace, because that place requires a contract. And then the worst, like, the gift where you can just give it freely with no return could be other places in your life. But even in parenting, there are aspects where there's a contract involved, where you tell your kid that, I'm going to be respectful towards you and I want you to be respectful towards me. That is a contract. That is not something being given freely in our marriage. The contract is, I'm going to be loyal towards you and I expect you to be loyal towards me. And if you're not, we can just dissolve this. So there are going to be elements of contract and elements of gift, which is giving freely or sharing in your life. Identify them. The problem is we bring contract where they're supposed to be freely giving gifts or sharing, and then we're supposed to be contract, we bring gifts. There are some people, I have met them in my life, where they would choose to not take as much from their work because they wanted to be a good person. They wanted to give freely, and then they hold resentment. So that is also out of alignment. Look at your life and be very clear where needs to be contract and where needs to be giving with no attachment, where you truly become a force of sharing in the world. So, with that, my friend, we are coming to the conclusion of this week's workshop. If something in here has struck you deeply and you would love to continue on this journey of deep exploration, especially starting to live from your heart, please reach out to me. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can book a consultation. And if you do have a suggestion for any future topic that you would like to learn, please send me a DM, any social media we are connected with. I'm still taking in inputs for the rest of the year, and I will see you next Thursday. I'm sending you so much love. Bye.